I'm Pastor Steve. Every time I visit my mother in the nursing home, we watch reruns of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke. It's just a wonderful old TV show, James Arnett. But notice when you watch Gunsmoke that in every episode, the gun is what solves the problem. And in thinking about this, I've come to realize that we live in a Gunsmoke culture. And there's a whole lot of reasons that led to that. You could look at a lot of various forms of history and whatnot that gave rise to that Gunsmoke culture. But it's a culture that gives us a false sense of empowerment. That is to say that we believe that we have the power because we are a very well-armed culture. Now, that's not going to change. Okay? You got to realize, doesn't matter which side of the red-blue divide you're on, our politicians or elected officials can do nothing. They can do nothing because 49% of us disagree with the other 51%, or 51% of us disagree with the other 49%. So that's a non-starter. It isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. But there are things we can do. What we can do is to manage the grievance. The grievance. What is the grievance? See, every person, every single one of us has a little collection of grievances. Our grievances are all the things that we believe are wrong in our lives, all the things that just aren't working out like we hoped and thought that they might work out. Our grievances can be physical. They can be having to do with our physical health, our physical body. They can be relationships that just aren't going like we wished that they would. They can be having to do with our employment. The situation we recently watched unfold in Louisville, Kentucky. Terrible tragedy having to do with a grievance that an employee had with an employer. And there are many, many, many grievances and upsets between employers and employees. It could be about money. It could be about anything. But the point is that we all of us human beings, we have our grievances, our upsets, the things that we just don't like that are going on in our lives. Now, the key point is to manage our grievances constructively and not destructively, to help one another to address and manage and see what our options are regarding the grievances that we have. And I recommend that we take three basic concepts. The first concept is validate. Validating means that we understand that your grievances are valid. You are feeling the way you are for a reason. There's a reality in your life that needs to be addressed. Nothing upsets us worse than someone telling us that our grievances don't matter, or you're just wrong, you're just wrong-headed, you're just not doing it right, that your grievances are minimized or ignored. That causes the grievance to grow in intensity, and it makes us more and more upset. So we need to validate each other's grievances and listen to them and take the time to understand them. Validate. That's number one. Number two is to empower. To empower is to help a person realize that they have choices they can make around that grievance, that there are constructive steps that we can take to address the grievance. The third is to liberate. Many of us feel like we're stuck repeating, going back and forth and around and around and around in the same set of grievances over and over again. We can make steps to change the situation. Our challenge is to help each other, to validate, to empower, and to liberate one another so that our grievances, whomever we are, do not grow into something that is going to result in a tragedy. I'm Pastor Steve, and I would encourage you to take a look at my website, pastorsteve.faith.